Hello YouTube, it's your boy Adam here, welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be going over the Nightbringer APHELIOS comp, also known as 200 years. I believe they call it this because that's sometimes how long it feels APHELIOS takes to cast. Am I right? Okay, let's get into it. So in this video we're going to be going over multiple different things. Here is the table of contents. We're going to go through the build, the itemization, early game, mid game, late game, and the positioning, and any little tips and tricks I've got for you towards the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So because of the recent B patch in 11.8 nerfing the Kha'Zix, the Chugbug and the Yasuo, there's no gap in the meta for APHELIOS and other comps like Lucian, so this comp is going to be probably S tier very soon, so I'd take advantage of it now whilst you can. Okay, so this build is flexible, allowing you to play different variations of APHELIOS. These are the core units for the comp. Of course you have APHELIOS as your primary carry, Akshan is your secondary carry. You can hold any spur, attack damage and attack speed items that you have left over from APHELIOS. You should play Ashe until you find Akshan, as the Ashe arrow helps you to slow down the tempo of the fight, allowing APHELIOS to cast multiple times. Teemo is also another great unit and is core for the comp. He slows down the tempo of the fight also with his shrooms, causing an AoE slow, allowing APHELIOS to cast more before the fight ends. Volibear once again is great for stalling a fight, as he casts a knock-up for a large amount of units. If you haven't already noticed a pattern here, all the units that you are surrounding APHELIOS with are there to slow down the fight, allowing APHELIOS to use his ability multiple times, winning you the round. Here is a look at the final comp. As you can see, we've got a lot of different traits in here, being Ranger, Brawler, Invoker, Mystic and Nightbringer, Helion and Revenant. A different variation you can run if you are struggling to find those Revenant frontline is this. This is a 4 Nightbringer comp, giving the APHELIOS that bigger shield to make him live that little bit longer. Okay, so there are multiple ways you can play the early game depending on your opener. You can start by playing Redeemed Varus, and Varus can be your item holder until you find APHELIOS. If you find an early Varus too, you can win streak early with this comp, allowing you to save health for the late game. You can play this comp vertically and play Nightbringers, adding APHELIOS when you find him. You need to drop your weaker Nightbringers in the mid to late game to make room for those stronger units like Volley, Ivern, Fiddle and Teemo. Or you can play an Abomination opener. This is usually my go-to early game if you find an early Nunu. You can stack items onto Callista, allowing her to be the holder of your APHELIOS items. All tank items go over to Nunu first, then Brand to buff up your Scion. Play Sejuani with Nunu, as Sej is a Nightbringer and is being used in the final comp. Finding an early Fiddle before you find APHELIOS gives you 4 Abomination, helping you save more health, and Fiddle is staying in for the final comp also, making the transition into the 200 years comp a lot easier. Moving over to itemization, the carousel priority for this comp is bow, sword, glove, cloak. Depending on the lobby and the radiant item you get, you can itemize APHELIOS differently. You always want to be running Last Whisper, or Radiant Last Whisper is also really good. The meta at the moment consists of a lot of Ironclad and Knights, so you need that armor shred to win those rounds. Akshan does have a built-in Last Whisper when he uses ability, but sometimes it can be hard to find him, and you'll start to bleed out losing to those tanky comps before you can find him. On the screen now is a tier list of the items you want on APHELIOS. Keep in mind, if you don't run some type of attack speed item, the round could already be over before the time he gets to ult, so I like to put a Rage Blade on him, but Runans also works too. Radiant Hodge is also extremely good on APHELIOS, allowing him to do more damage and heal with his ult and autos. You can choose to run 1 attack speed item with 2 damage items if the lobby has a lot of comps that are squishy, allowing you to make quick work of these. Of course, this means APHELIOS doesn't heal, so if you're against tankier teams which might come down to the line, I'd choose to run a healing item like a BT or, like mentioned before, the Radiant Hodge. So in the mid game you need to be on the lookout for APHELIOS. If you were win streaking and have a strong board but you do manage to find him, don't be afraid to hold on to him and continue win streaking and look to start the transition when you do lose a round. You can play comps like Redeemed Knights Varus. If you do still only have a Varus 1 and find an APHELIOS, switch him out and play APHELIOS with your Knights, picking up units you need for the final comp should go along. With Nightbringers you can use Sentinels to help buff out your traits. You can have Yasuo as your item holder for the time being, but keep in mind Yasuo has just received a nerf in patch 11.18b, so you can use units like Jax or Riven for now. Abomination, you can play 4 brawlers, 3 Abomination at 6, which is an extremely strong mid-game board due to the health of your frontline. Keep a lookout for the Fiddle for an extra Abomination unit, or you can look to drop Brand. So if you still haven't naturaled an APHELIOS during stage 3 and you are around 50 HP, you can all in at 4-1 and go to level 7 and roll down for units for the comp. If you had a strong early game opener and have a lot of strong 2-star units and you are around 70 plus HP left, you can choose to sack the first few rounds of stage 4 and push to level 8 after the carousel at 4-5 and roll there for better chances of hitting units like Volley, Teemo and Akshan. If you're well low health and you're bleeding out, sometimes you just can't buy that Teemo in your shop. That's okay, so you can look to play Gwen instead to give you an extra Mystic unit and the AoE damage reduction. If you are high rolling out of your mind thanks to that 5000 RP you just bought for those little legend eggs, and all of your non-legendary units are 2 stars including APHELIOS, then you can look to go level 9 when you have enough econ saved up to hit 9 and roll down to find those 2-star legendary units. If you don't hit all of your 2 stars at 8 and you are losing rounds, then do not try to go level 9 and just donkey roll to 0, trying to find those upgrades before you die. In the chance you find an APHELIOS 2 and have everything 2-starred and you are still finding APHELIOS naturally, you can pick them up and try to go for the Exodia APHELIOS 3. This thing slaps. You should only do this if you have nothing else to look for, you have all your upgrades and you are winning rounds with a strong economy. If not, then look for other units that can help increase the strength of your board. Positioning is very dependent on what the lobby is playing, so it's really important you're scouting the lobby to see what other players are running. You need to be on the lookout for assassins, zephyrs and that pesky fresh hook to the corner. It becomes even more important when you get down to the top 4. Correctly positioning against the enemy you're about to face can give you the win, done incorrectly can lead to a 4th place, so keep a mental note of who you fought and who you're about to fight. In the times it's a 50-50, just try your best to position against both players. This is how you would normally position the comp for the best chance of success when you're unsure who you're facing in the next fight. Banshee's Claw is a must against a lot of Forgotten / Assassins players, allowing APHELIOS not to get CC'd. If you were playing against an assassin heavy lobby, then you want to corner everything, making sure the assassins can't get to your APHELIOS. A tip for a comp running a Viego: you want to position so the Viego jumps to your APHELIOS. If you have a Banshee's Claw, then Viego is going to die as soon as APHELIOS switches aggro. If not, position your Teemo so Viego jumps to him. When Viego casts, Lulu will interrupt the cast, which allows him to be taken out without him converting any of your units to his. The same can be said for Diana, but she needs to be killed before she comes out of the Lulu polymorph. If the Diana is a Nightbringer comp, then the Nightbringer shield is going to save her, allowing her to cast, so try to position opposite side if this is the case. If you are playing against Lucian players, then try to position Volley to knock up Lucian, interrupting the cast, and if possible, put your Ivern directly in the way of the Lucian ult. This allows Ivern to cast faster, and Daisy can tank most of the Lucian ult instead of APHELIOS eating it. So that's a rundown on how to play Nightbringer APHELIOS, or 200 years. Like I mentioned before, due to the B patch, there is a spot in the meta for this comp, so if I was you, I'd abuse this now before everyone starts to run it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope the audio was a lot better than the previous video thanks to a new mic. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe, as I'm going to be making more of these types of videos for all the S tier comps in the meta at the moment, so keep an eye out for the next one. Also let me know in the comments if you've already been playing this comp, and if so, how you finding it. Thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, peace!